Hello my friends, welcome to another watercolor tutorial. We are painting a winter, kind of like a winter Christmas scene here, and you can see me applying tape to my piece of paper, and this is because we're going to be painting birch trees. And I thought that it would be much simpler to simply put tape down instead of trying to avoid these long strips, if you know what I mean. So I'm just doing that. So I don't know if you can see when I go in the light, you can kind of see how I place them. There's just 3 there. You can alter, like if you don't want to go through, like I just used regular Scotch tape, but you can just pencil in your trees and then avoid it while we paint. But I just find that a lot more complicated. So this is going to be hopefully a fun painting. My battery is at 20%, so let's see if we can do this. It's always something, I swear. Like it's either I'm on a time crunch because baby's gonna wake up from a nap, or my battery's dying, or my camera is full. But anyways, so how are we gonna do this? I would say about 1/3 of the way up, I have my my paintbrush tinted with like very light blue, but that's only so that I can see where I'm painting, because then I'm gonna go upwards and try to cover it mostly with just like clear just water, because I don't want it to be totally blue. It's okay if it's blue because it's kind of going to be the sky as well, but just try to apply it nice and evenly, because we're going to be doing wet in wet. I'm going to take blue, like a navy blue, and I'm going to start at the base and kind of swipe my brush upwards. And we've done this technique many times before in other paintings. And I mean, sometimes you can go in if you wish and try and make it look more like a pine tree. But I'm also gonna add some green into it. Like I really like the green and blue combo of trees, evergreens rather. So I'm gonna have them sort of beside one another. Oops. Boop. And you can have it more, what's the word I'm looking for, opaque or vibrant. So I'm going in with blue again because my original blue was not very dark. You might have to wait until it dries a bit because my background is still very, very wet, and it's kind of hard to get the level of detail that I want when it's this wet because it just spreads into a blob. Anyway, you can keep going as long as you want until you're happy with what the background looks like. See what I mean? Like if we didn't have this tape here, this would have been a lot more complicated. you would have had to avoid it. It's not impossible because I've painted paintings like that where I just had to avoid it and go around the pencil marks. So it's definitely possible, but it's just so much easier this way. Okay, I'm just thinking what I should do next. I'm thinking, because we're gonna have trees up front here as well, overlapping the horizon line. But I'm gonna let this dry first. So I'm hoping that is dry. Lately I have to put my dryer on the low stance so that I don't wake my baby. Just a tip. If you have issues with like having to be quiet when your baby is sleeping, and I'm sure you probably already know this, but I was just late to the game, get yourself a sound machine or a noise machine, or buy like one of those apps on your phone where you can play whatever sounds. We used our phone for a while, but we need our phone for like an alarm, for instance, so we can't just leave it in her room all night. So we just bought a sound machine. It's like 30 bucks online, and it was a good $30 spent, I'll tell you that, because now we can have a conversation at a slightly above whisper level and not worry that the baby's gonna wake up. We can play a board game and not worry about that. So I'm just painting a pine tree now, evergreen, whatever you wish to call it. And this time I'm going with the like umbrella fan method for my evergreen. Okay, I'm gonna just add some black to this because it's looking a little bit flat to me. That's a tad bit better. And I kind of wish I made these a little bit thicker. I want to be consistent with the technique that I used to paint these, but the technique I used, it's like super detailed, and honestly that wasn't the look I was going for, because I want them to be very bushy looking, very thick evergreens, not these more detailed ones. So I have to add black again. I'll have another one over here. Yeah, it really helps having this tape here. Can you imagine having to avoid the tape while you paint your trees? Like, that would be definitely challenging. But if you're up for a challenge, go for it. Anyway, you can keep going crazy, like add as many of these guys as you want in different areas and locations. And I am kind of trying to figure out when I'm going to stop, and because right now it's looking very bare to me. Kind of tempted to just have like a deciduous tree in here as well, because that's how my forest, like we have a forested property, and we have just a random assortment of trees. It's not bad. Okay. I'm tempted to add another one here. Kind of wish I didn't do that. I don't like how that looks. It really, first of all, it doesn't make sense because it's massive compared to this tree. I really didn't think that one through. And I'm just, that wasn't a good idea. I just wanted to add some volume to this tree because it's not exactly what I had envisioned, but I don't think it's a good idea to do what I wanted to do. Anyway, so let's see. I'm gonna add a bit of shadow to a bunch of areas. So first of all, I'm gonna add shadows to these trees, coming off of these trees, like this. They're all gonna kind of flow this way. This. This random deciduous tree. And I want to add like a little gray path, I guess, going into, well, I guess I didn't think that one through, so I can't add a path. I think I would have, in hindsight, I would have only had 2 of these birch trees that we're going to paint, but it's too late now. I just want to paint like a little pathway. I know it doesn't really make sense, but the tutorial that I'm referencing by Maj Bricole, that's what she has, and I thought it was going to look a little bit better than it does, but that's okay. I'm just adding little blotches here because I intend to paint, what do I intend to paint? Little twigs sticking up. But I can always add the shadows in later, so I'm just gonna stop there for now. Now, I am going to peel this tape off. Oops. And we'll have a nice canvas here. Clearly it was not long enough on that third tree, but we can adjust for that. So now we can paint our birch trees. So I'm gonna take black and I'm gonna paint. I need to try a slightly different technique than I usually go for because I usually line them a little bit with black, and lately I haven't been liking how that turns out. They really don't turn out looking very realistic at all. So instead I'm just gonna try to do all the other steps I typically do and then see how it turns out. So what we're doing is adding these little black dots, and these are called knots. It is where branches on trees kind of grow out of. And if you've ever split wood, you will know how annoying they are because they are so hard to cut through. Like even a hydraulic wood splitter, is that what it's called? Hydraulic? Has trouble with it. Like we've rented a couple wood splitters in the past, and yeah, they struggle. They have a hard time with it, with knots. So instead I am just adding, so I'm adding the knots, I'm adding some horizontal lines as well. And I do want to extend it a little bit further down than the tape went. So I have another little like knot line here. And okay, I like how that turned out a little bit more than my usual birch trees in the past have turned out. I have plenty of birch tree tutorials, by the way, on my channel. So maybe I should go watch them myself. And I've said that before because I just recently did a birch tree painting and I said the same thing, like, ugh, these are not looking too great. I should go rewatch my own tutorials. Because, I mean, when you don't, you know, I move with the seasons. I paint with the seasons. So I'm not going to, I try to avoid painting winter stuff for summer releases, right? I tried to focus on beaches and fruit and, you know, sunny things. And then, so months go by before I paint winter stuff. So all that is to say, what is that to say? What is my point? I'm out of practice with my birch paintings. Not that you can only paint a birch tree in winter painting. That's not what I'm saying at all, but it does tend to, they really complement winter paintings because they're white and snow is white, and it's just a very wintry look, in my opinion. You may disagree. I have to paint over that green. The other thing that I'm kind of working against, in addition to my low battery, is my husband's on a bike ride right now, so he has to shower when he gets home, of course, and I am filming in the bathroom like I always do. So, you know, we gotta get a move on here. So I'm gonna water down some of this black, and then I'm going to just try and finish off these trees, because one thing that I like to do is blend some of that black out and run it along the length of the tree. Not too much though, like this is a bit too much. I overdid it on this tree, but because you don't want to turn the tree totally black. Just sort of like that. Oh, guys, I got 10% left. So I've got about 15 minutes before this shuts down. I think we can finish this in 15 minutes. I'm just gonna take the watered down black that I had for the birch and going over this pathway thing, because it was green before. Okay, switching back to my liner brush. And I'm gonna grab some black again. And we have to, of course, add the little branches that are coming from birch trees, because in my opinion, a birch tree is not complete until you add on those beautiful branches that extend from it. Just make sure you don't overdo it, because I once painted so many of them that it looked pretty bad. And I'm gonna have little twigs or whatnot growing from the base of the trees, mostly to help hide the base, because I'm not sure what to do with it. So it kind of gives us an easy way out to transition out of the tree, and I'm going to add shadows there in a moment. So we'll have another branch out here and a branch overlapping this tree here. Okay, so that is looking all right. I'm gonna switch back to my other brush really quickly, and I'm gonna work on those shadows. Oh, I should have done those twigs first, sorry. Back to the liner brush. I want to add some more of these twigs where I painted these little shadow patches. It's just like random grass or twigs growing just to kind of fill up the space there. Okay, so yeah, back to the other brush, slightly larger brush. We're just going to add, whoops, that was very shadowy. That was not the intention. So that's all right. Okay, now we can either leave it like this, but it's looking a tiny bit bare to me. So to spruce it up a tiny bit, I'm going to work with acrylic paint. So if you have like really opaque watercolor paint or gouache, you can also use that. I don't have those, so that's why I'm going with the acrylic paint. And I'm just adding, I don't want to overdo it because I tend to overdo the snow. I'm trying to really make up for where my painting lacks, and then I just, it ends up looking really bad with the excessive snow. So I'm trying really hard not to do that this time. Just putting some at the tops of these pine trees and on the deciduous trees as well. Putting some at the base. And don't forget to add some on the birch branches as well. It doesn't have to be on every single one, but okay. And one other thing I want to do is make it snow. So that snow that we added really helped, but I'm also going to make it snow. So I'm watering down some acrylic paint here, and I'm going to tap it against a brush. I really don't like when it does that. I don't know why it does that sometimes, where it splatters this line instead of a dot. It's quite annoying. So I'm just going to take the acrylic paint and manually apply some larger dots. Okay, so I think that is not too bad. I'm going to peel the tape off. And I like that. I like how that looks. I love the touch of blue at the back. I think it balances it out really well. One other thing that I just thought of, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to take the chance, but you can add like a touch of red with a cardinal flying in the background or just on the ground here. Or it would be nice if you just had like a random red ornament hanging from a branch. That would be a fun close-up tutorial, actually, if you just had like a single birch tree with one of these black branches sticking out and just a red ornament hanging off of it. That would be really nice, maybe for next year. But let me know what you thought of this one. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in the next tutorial.